What's going on, my friends? This is Gamer for Life, and I have a nice little build video here for you today. Now, I know there's been a nice little spike in new players coming to the game, and if you've gone through the New York expansion, Warlords of New York, and you're wondering what build you should have if you want to go into the DZ open world heroic map, I've got the build for you, and this is going to be a really nice go-to build. It's definitely become my go-to build when running the DZ solo or with a team, or if I'm doing, just regular activities in the open world on a heroic map. So that's gonna be a different type of tank build. Most tank builds are geared towards armor regen, which is cool. But what I wanted to do is have that all blue core attribute to have some high armor, but I also wanted to have some high DPS. So what I have here is using SMG. So I have a Sokolov piece, and if you want this build to be for an AR, basically you just change this piece into a Fenris. So only thing you'd have to change is probably some of the mods. You'd probably want to have crit chance instead of crit damage, since obviously ARs don't have as much crit chance as SMGs. And that's mainly because this is a crit build as well as an armor build. So like I said, one piece Sokolov, 10% SMG damage, rolled with crit chance, crit damage with a 12% crit damage mod. Then for some really nice damage, you have the Perfect Intimidate. It's the Hunter Killer chest. And now you don't have to have Perfect Intimidate. Obviously, to get this chest piece, you would have to take out all of the hunters in New York, which is it's a task. I mean, that takes, you definitely will have to find a video on how to do that, because it is some of the hunters are complicated because you have to kill some at a certain time. So, but just Intimidate is fine. That gives you plus 35% damage. But the Perfect, while you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage by 40% to enemies within 10 meters. And that's rolled with crit chance, crit damage with an 11.9% crit damage mod. And of course, that's coupled with the Matador, the named Walker and Harris piece. Brand set gives you plus 5% weapon damage. Rolled crit chance, crit damage with a 12% crit damage mod. Perfect Adrenaline Rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. Cooldown is only 5 seconds. So you're basically going to have bonus armor at all times, just about. So for my next piece, now this one, it's an improvised holster. For an AR build, this would be perfect because you want to get as much crit as possible, and that extra mod slot helps with that. For my build, I would definitely much rather have another Sokolov piece here for the holster. For whatever reason, playing this game from day one, I have yet to come across a Sokolov holster with crit chance, crit damage already rolled on it so I can put armor on it. And I have been farming my butt off the past couple of weeks trying to get one in. I'm getting I've gotten a lot of nice Sokolov pieces, just not a holster. But for now, because obviously the 15% for the brand set bonus, 15% critical hit damage would definitely be much better than the 11.9% crit damage mod that I have here. But it's what I have right now, so that's what I'm rolling with. Crit chance, crit damage, also on the holster. And then the Fox Prayer knee pads, 8% damage to target out of cover, 12% crit damage rolled on it. And then Grupo Sombra. Now, if you have a nice pair of contracted gloves, which I do, if you have these and you'd rather just have, hey, that 8% damage to armor is always going to be there. Like that straight up damage at all times to enemies with armor. Obviously, red enemies won't have armor, but especially in PvP, it's pretty nice. But what I found when testing is that with the Grupo Sombra, the 15% crit damage that it has does more consistent high damage with this crit build. Now, if you don't have max crit chance and you just want to have that damage to armor, That's perfectly fine because honestly, it's not a huge difference, but there is a difference in damage. It's just slightly higher, more consistent with the Grupo Sombra, so that's what I'm running, which has hazard protection and crit damage. Rather the hazard protection to be something like headshot damage, just to get as much damage as possible, since I really don't need crit chance here. So another red would have been nice, but that's what I got it rode with. And yeah, those are the gear pieces. Now the guns we have, Lady Death. The way I run this in the DZ, especially when I'm playing PvP, is I'll run up to a player, I'll unload the my 32 mag, and then switch to this bad boy and finish him off. If that didn't finish him off, a lot of times just even though it's just a 32 mag, a lot of times that will take a player down by itself. But anyway, the main reason is because breathe free when moving, gains 4 stacks per second or 8 stacks if spraying, up to 32 stacks total. Each round fired consumes a stack, amplifying damage by 75%. That's for PvE. PvP stat is 60%. Oops, 60%. So, and then kills grant plus 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. So yeah, that's why I load that clip into him, which is that amplified damage clip, and then I'll switch to the Vector, which the Vector does some nice damage on its own. I mean, it's a really nice one. SMG damage, crit chance, damage target out of cover with measured. And I found when I was testing it in I was about to say driving range. When I was testing it out, oh my god, can I speak? Testing it out at the firing range, measured, did more DPS than say Optimus or Strain. Obviously Strain isn't going to be very good for Vectors because you get more crit damage the longer you shoot your weapon with Strain, and I mean, the Vector's RPM is just way too high for that, so you're not going to take full advantage of that. Then I had Optimus on it, and I was like, you know what, let me try Measured, and Measured actually ended up doing the most DPS, so that's why I have that on here. Works pretty decent. Now, for my skills, yes, I know people do not like shields, but listen, especially on this build, it just deals out too much damage not to have this out, because the damage per enemy in front of you, I have a mod on it. I think it's 8% regular, and with the mod brings it to an extra 12% damage per enemy in front of you. So if you have multiple guys in front of you, the damage is gonna be crazy. And you can get one, sometimes I get 2 clips from my Vector before they can take my shield down, since it is a tier 6 shield. Even though shields still do get taken down pretty fast, especially if the person has a lot of DPS. But the shield's up long enough for you to take a player down. Like, this is a really good 1v1 build. Before last night, I would have said I've never lost a 1v1, which I didn't. Last night I actually did run into a player that was pretty damn decent and gave me a run for my money. We was going back and forth. So, but for the most part, you're gonna win most of your 1v1s with this build. And then for my secondary skill, I have the Decoy, which is nice if you're going rogue in the DZ. You know, you can drop it, or if you're doing landmarks in the DZ, you drop it and get some of the heat off of you. So, I mean, it's pretty decent. I know a lot of people like to run with EMP Sticky or Jam or stuff like that. So, you know, you just run with whatever you feel comfortable with. Obviously, the skills aren't, well, the shield is pretty important, but the second skill isn't really all that important as long as you have this set up. The hardest thing about this build is getting the right pieces. Honestly, that's definitely going to be the hardest thing about this build. So, let's go ahead and look at the stats that I have. For my Lady Death, max crit chance, 184.8 crit damage, 70% headshot damage, 6% armor damage. And for the Vector, max crit chance, 189.8 crit damage with 70% headshot damage. And The armor, I have 1,848,000 armor. So not bad, and that gives you enough survivability to, you know, if you go against an all red build, I mean, you pretty much should win that battle every time, because they have absolutely no armor and you have plenty of damage to take them out before they can get your armor all the way down and take you out. It is what it is, you know. That's just how Division 2 is set up. You know, I don't run a whole lot of actually, I don't run an all red build at all, because I just feel it puts you at a disadvantage. I mean, for distance, yeah, it's pretty decent for distance, but when you're up close and personal, no, it's not gonna do anything for you. I mean, let me not say that, because one, well, I don't profess to be the greatest PvP player at all. Honestly, I feel that I'm a PvE player who enjoys PvP. And there's a lot of guys out there that use all red builds that are damn good. So if you know how to use it right, it can definitely be effective. But like I said, I've never come up against a red build and lost with this build on. That's just me personally. But yeah, that's the build. The specialization is Firewall. Besides the shield, which is, I mean, the main reason we have this specialization, it does have some decent perks on it, like allies deal plus 10% damage to enemies that are within 10 meters of you, so you're giving your whole team damage if you're on a team, so that's pretty good. Plus 30% bonus armor during cover-to-cover moves, which can be very beneficial. Plus 50% pulse resistance. And in PvE, on armor break, apply burn to enemies within 5 meters. Then you have plus 20% burn duration, plus 30% health on kill. And this actually has saved me. It's your armor kit recovers 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds. And that's definitely pretty good, especially if you're in a fight and they take your armor down. You can hit the corner, pop a med kit, come back out, and start putting more bullets in them while you're continuously healing for 10 seconds. So that is a really good talent as well. And yeah, that is what I'm rolling on this build. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of videos, especially from Gamey Daddy, and he's even noticed a spike in some new players. Especially when I'm matchmaking, I get put with new players all the time. So if you're a new player out there and you're just getting past Warlords of New York and you need a go-to build, like I said, I would definitely recommend this type of build. You can tweak it any way you want to. Obviously, people are different. That you can run. There's a lot of different ways you can run armor builds, skill builds, and damage builds. Basically, YouTube just put build videos out to show you different ways that you can run it, and then you can tweak it however it fits your playstyle. And this one is the way I really love running in the DZ with this build. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got, my friends, on YouTube. I do have some game footage, so stay tuned for that. As always, my friends, take it easy.
Rogue agent detected.